Hey everyone, Dave from BC Bushcraft and welcome to another video. I was going to review the Real Steel Bushcraft Plus knife today. And I thought I might just do an intro video for this knife review because it's cold and I don't really feel like processing up wood and it's just dark. It's not a really good day for filming. So this is an intro video to the knife review. I'm going to go home and then shoot a closer up video of the knife, and then maybe I'll add in some scenes of me using it on my previous solo overnight. Okay, so now that I'm at home, let's take a closer look at the Real Steel Bushcraft Plus knife. They give you a nice piece of paper kind of detailing everything about the Bushcraft Plus. You got the blade steel, which is 14C28N, same as the Mora Garberg, the Sandvik steel there. The blade thickness is 4.5 millimeters, so it's a fairly thick blade, closer to your SE4. Your blade length is about 4.5 inches. You got removable G10 handles. Total length close to 10 inches, 9.44 inches. Comes in a flat grind where you can get the Scandi, which is what I have. Comes with nylon sheath and a Kydex inch insert. So I must say that the Real Steel Bushcraft Plus is by far the best fit and finish that I've had out of the box from a knife. This thing was definitely hair shaving sharp, which none of my knives have actually been right out of the box. They've been close. It's totally flush. Handles are totally flush. Everything is just really well done. You got a super sharp 90 that has no problem with ferro rods. Everything about the fit and finish of this knife is perfect. I would give it a 10 out of 10 every day for this knife. It is the best knife fit and finish wise that I've had. So that says a lot. It does have some jimping on top, which is actually really interesting. I've never seen a company do this before, but they've kind of just machined the edge down here. So it's one of the most comfortable jimping too that I've actually experienced, which it's a plus. It's the little details of a knife like this. You got the sharpening choil. That's also a plus too. You kind of got this hidden lanyard hold back here, which is a cool little styling kind of touch to it. So this knife kind of fits right into the kind of bushcraft range as far as size. It's a little thick for people who are super into wood carving, but this high Scandi grind makes it so that this knife just bites into wood no problem. I found that for the thickness of the blade, it actually didn't affect, just doing feather sticks or just, whittling ends of wood, things that you would do when you're out doing solo overnights. It had zero problem being like a thicker, beefier blade as far as that goes. Just because that edge is so fine that it is a little bit more delicate out of the box. I rolled the edge a few times when I was just smacking on some branches and things like that. That being said, I roll the edge on every single knife that I own. I've never not rolled an edge on a knife, so I'd rather have, a really super sharp knife with the potential to roll because I can sharpen that out than to have, just a sword edge almost where it's too blunt and it just doesn't bite into wood. So moving on from that, I really do like the blade. I like the thickness. It splits wood, batoning a little bit easier than your traditional 3mm blades. It's got that extra little bit of knife edge here, being 4.5 inches pretty much compared to your standard 4-inch blade or your 4.25-inch blade. That I do like that extra little length there, and it makes it so it's not an over cumbersome knife. So from there, let's move into ergonomics and the handle. This is the one place where this knife has room for improvement. This kind of handle design that they've gone for definitely suits a grip like this. This is not the best grip for bushcraft. I think that knives should be designed for a handle grip like this, and this knife is not necessarily designed for a grip like that. Because of this little bridge here, it doesn't quite sit in the hand as well as I would like it to. It's a touch thin in here too, right where your pinky is. So, I would prefer just a regular palm swell, like something that you would see on the Condor bush lore, which has a very, very ergonomic handle. Just a traditional handle like the bush lore. With that being said, it's not the most uncomfortable handle that I've ever had. When I'm doing feather sticks on it, I usually like to kind of put my 2 fingers almost into the 1 finger groove and kind of choke up on it. And I found that was the best way for me to do my feather sticks and get a nice grip on it. It does have some swell on the sides, not too much, and it's a little bit square. You can see that it's kind of flat down the back there. Let me try to focus it. So those are things, it could have a little bit more rounding around these edges, and more of a palm swell out here, and a little bit thicker of a handle, and I think that this handle would be a winner. Room for improvement, definitely the handle. Now let's take a look at the sheath. It comes with a nylon sheath, and it's tactical. It gives you a lot of Velcro, a lot of options to strap it to backpacks or things like that. The belt loop itself is Velcro. It's got kind of these extra bells and whistles, like a pouch here that you can use, put a sharpening stone or ferro rod. I have a ferro rod, and I have the Allen key that will remove the handle scale. I'm not that big of a fan of nylon sheaths, but it comes with a Kydex insert, which is kind of interesting. So you kind of pop this drawstring off, take this string out like so, and then you simply pull out the Kydex insert. So this makes easy for someone to change if they're left-handed. You can flip this around and make the sheath to sit on your left hip rather than your right hip. I don't really like nylon sheaths, and I thought that it comes with a Kydex insert, and maybe I could just use the Kydex insert with my Tech Lock that is currently on my Rat 3 Kydex sheath. But in reality, when I did pop off the Kydex sheath, it's too long. I find that the way that I would like to carry it, kind of scout style, it's just too long to carry that way. And I would almost consider shaping this sheath myself and taking off this whole chunk and just ditching the nylon, because I'm just not that big of a fan of a nylon. It's a lot of extra weight and bulk, and I don't really need like pouches and stuff like that. I like simple stuff. The Kydex insert in the Bushcraft Plus, it doesn't have a thumb ramp here, so it does hurt when you're popping out the knife. That corner right there should really get trimmed down so you have a thumb ramp, maybe on both sides even. The Kydex insert, I don't know if you can hear that. It has rattle to it, so it's not the best formed fit, I would say, but it definitely has a good enough retention that knife's not coming out. It's just loose. So there's room for improvement on the sheath for sure. I would much rather this knife come with, like, you take this as the Condor bush lore sheath, you put that knife inside that sheath, and all of a sudden you have this really attractive knife with the leather and the black, and I think that's something that would work really well. Or you could just go straight Kydex, put it in something like the Rat 3, and then all of a sudden you got kind of more of like a tactical, nice quality Kydex sheath with this knife in this price range being around $120 American. I think that the sheath definitely needs some attention. It's not a total like killer, this totally sits on your belt fine. It's just a little bit cumbersome, and it's not something that I'm completely into. You can see on this drawing that it comes with a Velcro strap here, and this thing was absolutely garbage. I actually just cut it off the sheath right away. It got in the way every time I tried to pull the knife out, and I find that I didn't even need it because it snaps in with the Kydex and you got enough retention there that there was just no point in having that little Velcro strap. It was just really useless, I found. So this is a really nice belt knife. Besides the little, I'm being a little picky with my kind of review here, but I thought, I should tell you guys some of the things that I found with this knife. But, this is going to be my go-to belt knife now. It's going to replace my other knives. So, things like, I got the Rat 3 down there. I got the Condor Bushler down there. I got my Mora Companion. And I'll just kind of lay them all out so you guys can take a peek at how the knife looks compared to all of these guys. So it is a touch bigger as far as blade size goes with that extra blade length. I do really like the extra thickness of the blade. The blade is balanced. It's very well balanced blade. It's not too heavy in the handle, which is a problem with like the Condor Bushler is very handle heavy. The balance point is more back here than it's up there. Being stainless steel in my environment, I'm always dealing with rust on every single one of these knives. You can see that I have patinas on all of them. They're always like covered in something because sometimes I just don't have time or just the ability to be cleaning my knives meticulously all the time. So it being a stainless steel knife made out of a fairly high quality metal, it's definitely going to be my go-to belt knife for most of my adventures now. One more thing is that I did find that the finish on this knife was quite easily scratched up. I put a lot of scratches on it just by using like a little, like those green Scotch pads when I was just trying to wipe away some like dirt and grime on it. And, it did affect the finish when usually I found that on my carbon steel knives it didn't do so as much, but it's not that big of a deal. Knives get scratches. All of my knives are scratched up. I use them a lot, so I don't care about scratches. As far as ranking on what I would rank this knife, say out of a scale of 10, I would have to give this knife an 8 out of 10. I think that this knife has room to be a 10 out of 10. It just needs that handle modification and, a change in the sheath for me, or an option at least to have maybe a leather sheath with this knife that was a high quality leather sheath, not a cheap quality one, or a Kydex option that was more like the Rat 3 that had more attention to detail with things like a thumb ramp and just a better design. Anyways, I hope that you like this review of the Real Steel Bushcraft Plus. This is Dave from BC Bushcraft. I hope you guys have a great day. Please comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.